Almost heaven, West Virginia. My RX8 hot started all the way to Virginia. What is up, RAD Potential YouTube? Starting this video off with some lovely John Denver inspired RX8 enthusiasm, because this morning I woke up in Indiana, it was dark, fired up my yellow RX8 that I bought for the price of these RX8 seats, knowing I could get my investment back out just selling the seats right out of this car, and proceeded to drive this thing approximately 500 miles to Virginia to meet up with a super cool YouTube channel. It's going to be an awesome collaboration. I'm excited to render my rotary aid to the RX8 R3 owned by Ben of Gears and Gasoline. Courtesy of a lot of you viewers, I got tagged in a post on the interwebs about Ben needing some help, wanting to rebuild one of his engines. So I reached out, and now I'm on the way to help him tear down this engine. It's a super long drive to get out here, but it's worth it. Making connections in the car industry with fellow car enthusiasts, and I couldn't be more appreciative of the opportunity. So let's check out this RX8 engine and see if we can't maybe convince him that rotaries are super cool and reliable. We have made it to the Gears and Gasoline shop out here in Virginia. I am so stoked.
Looks good.
The low compression RX8 fits right in, bringing some color.
With the low compression R3 RX8.
So the reason I was brought out here is they have a spare engine we're wanting to rebuild and port for this R3 RX8 back here. So I came out to facilitate the teardown. That project will all be documented on their channel. But what I wanted to give you guys is Ben here isn't exactly the biggest supporter of the rotary. So
you want to show them why maybe that's the case?
Yeah, we'll show them your K-swapped RX-7 here in a second. But so what did you learn today tearing down this engine? Was it as simple as you thought?
Well, everybody always says that rotaries are simple, and I think what I've learned was that they're even more complex than I had originally thought. I think people have a tendency to get like used to their platform, and then yes, it's simple because you know the platform. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be the case with any engine, so I don't think the rotor is any different than that. I think it's like an engineering flex.
Yeah.
It's like, we can do this, and so we did. It's kind of like the German mentality.
Yep.
And I think it's really cool. I think it's nifty, but I think it's completely excessive.
I don't disagree. You know, we were talking previously before we started on working on their stuff, and I'm like, so why do you like the rotary? And like, to me, I was always inspired by the sound. But then you kind of just got to deal with the headaches of a rotary in order to have the sound, is what I was like realizing today, you know?
They're awesome to drive. Like, so good, so smooth. The power band is so linear and they sound cool. Like, they're fantastic to drive, but I do think you have to deal with the mechanics.
Sure.
I think people that think they're simple are delusional. But now you're going to get a bunch of comments.
It's okay. I'll still keep thinking they're simple and be delusional with all my rotaries, but it is nice to... You know, in my world, right, everything is rotary around me, even down to a rotary truck. You know, if I could get a rotary lawnmower, I'd probably have one, right? So, like, coming out here and seeing all the different stuff, you know, with the K-swapped RX-7 over here, any of these other cars, it's kind of nice to, like, normalize to what I guess the majority of the car industry is, which is, like, K-swap, LS swaps. It's super easy. They're simple, you know? Whereas, like, when I look at your engine bay over here, it doesn't look any much more complex.
Okay, now hold on. People are going to see this oil pan and they're going to think, no. This is from the rotary. This pan full of oil.
Yes. We did take it out from under this car, but it was very clean when we took it out. But looking at this engine bay, it doesn't look any more complex or crazy hard to work on than a rotary car, or even a V8 swapped FD, you know? So it just goes to show how simple, you know, really, as much as I think the rotaries are simple, you know, I could replace this.
Yeah, I'm probably delusional in thinking that that's simple as well, because, like, it's just because I'm familiar with it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I could probably replace this with an REW that would make the same power, and honestly might be just as reliable, but like we talked about earlier, the rotaries are fragile.
Yeah.
You know, so it's definitely probably not going to take the same exact level of abuse that this can take.
This is 400 wheel, but the thing is, if you were to build a rotary to do that, it would cost a lot more.
For sure.
I mean, just a stock motor would cost more.
So, and getting an REW block, you know, as you guys saw when I stacked up the last REW engine, the amount of effort it takes to strengthen a rotary engine to reliably put down, we'll say abusively, 400 to 500 horsepower. It takes a good bit of effort, a good bit of time, much more than just, you know, I mean, I saw in one of your videos you hurt this engine not too long ago, and it's already like back together with another motor.
The cost of one housing for a rotary.
Yep. And this thing's ready to rip. So, but I definitely can't thank Ben and the rest of the crew enough for letting me come out here and help them with this. It's kind of my first collaboration with another YouTuber, and I'm excited to do it with you guys. I feel like you guys, I've loved your guys' videos, albeit, you know, YouTube guys don't necessarily watch tons of YouTube because we typically work very hard to do YouTube. So, but following along, I was so stoked to see you buy the RX8, and I can remember watching the videos with your FDs, you know, back when you guys first started doing that stuff, and it's just inspiring to finally, you know, come and be a part of the community of cars on YouTube. I think it's super cool.
I'm flattered. Like, I really do appreciate you. I don't know the first thing about a rotary, so you've taught me a lot today. I'm sure there's a lot more coming in the future. Yeah, absolutely. Very thankful for you to come by. So hopefully we can give you just a bunch of followers. Go make sure you're subscribed if you're watching this.
Yes, and thank you guys very much. So with that, we've got a nice long drive back to Indiana in the low compression RX8, which I'm sure it's going to hot start plenty more times on the way there.
What kind of gas mileage are you getting?
I got 22, like 21.8.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not grandpa driving it.
Okay.
I'm running like 84.
Yeah, that's better than I got on mine, so I think my motor is hurt.
Yeah,
in different ways.
Like that one 100% is hurt though.
Yeah,
like, I have compression numbers on video of it making less than 80 psi compression. So, and it only made 86 horsepower on the dyno. And let me tell you, the Blue Ridge Mountains, 6th gear, it kind of, I thought about downshifting, you know what I mean? So, it's fun. It'll make it though.
Enjoy the drive back, watch the deer. There are a lot of deer.
For sure, Yep.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Ben, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a couple weeks. Get this engine put back together and get you something ripping.
Make it brap.
Yep. Hot start. Oh, it took a little longer than she usually does. I guess that extra 1,000 miles really breaking this deal in. Well, this is lovely because I just made it to Ferdinand, Indiana, literally 10 minutes away from where I live, and now the car's dead. I feel like I'm out of gas because it just shut off and it still cranks just fine. So I'm ideally hoping that I can roll to this Casey's gas station that's right up here. Fortunately, I have a decent enough of a hill, but the fuel gauge is only reading this. But I did drive 300 miles, and 300 miles is honestly, I've been getting like 21 mpg, so 300 divided by 2 is like 15. I think this thing has a 16-gallon tank, so we very much could just be out of gas. Let's just hope we're out of fuel. I know it's dark, but it is also cue Garth Brooks, Thunder Rolls, 3:30 in the morning, not a soul in sight, because literally there's nobody out here. So I hope I can make it to that gas station. If not, we'll make it there on the starter. You know, we'll just wear out this high torque starter to drive me into the gas station. Or maybe it'll start. Oh, it wants to start. Yeah. Come on. Maybe not. Come on, so close. I'm really gonna have to put my shoes on and push this thing. I've got to apologize to this starter, but I just pushed the car like a half a mile. Whew. Four in the morning, not what I want to be doing. But let's put fuel in this and see if it starts. Woo-woo! Always an adventure. dying. RX8s are heavy. And y'all want to know the best part about an RX8? Inconvenient. Only the good stuff. All right. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Need to get back on the bike, but honestly, I couldn't see the gas station that way. I was like, oh, it's at a quarter tank. I'll make it 7 miles to the next town where I live. Good thing it shut off right there. So let's see, what do these have? 16-gallon tanks? Let's see if it puts 16 in it. They are kind of a saddle tank, so if the balance pipe or if the pump that pumps over from either side isn't working, then obviously I'd have the same condition, but it would still show a quarter tank. You know, we went 300 and some change miles, so we'll see what my fuel economy was. Whew, what a video, what a day. Just what a day. 1,100 miles on the RX8 was the goal. We make it 1,096 of those miles. And it breaks. I was thinking, I'm like, what else am I gonna put in this video? We don't have any drama. You know, there's no like, nothing broke, old trusty. And then it breaks. The thing is, it did just like sputter and die. So it didn't catastrophically fail. And I didn't have a flashing check engine light. Ooh, 15 gallons. I bet we're out of gas. For good measure, I'm just gonna drop this a couple more times. The inconvenience. Okay. Thank you. Please come again. I will gladly push my car into the Casey's gas station. All right, moment of truth. Ooh, different fuel noises that time. Should we prime the pump twice? We'll just prime it twice. Sounds like some air. There we go. What are the odds? Please start. Woo! Oh, that is such a relief. Okay. Just so y'all don't think I'm joking, or that my clock in the RX8 is wrong, it is 4:02 a.m. I have now been awake for approximately 24 hours. I woke up at 4:30 to drive to Virginia to hang out with the Gears and Gasoline guys. We are making all of the sacrifices to make this RAD potential thing work, and I'm excited to see the growth after today's video. I'm also super excited that this thing still has all 6 apex seals in it, and we're running. Whew. I need a nap. I will see you guys at the shop. Assume. It would have honestly been way easier to push this car from the trunk instead of the door last night. But I've got this open. We made it home from the gas station. Got a few hours of sleep. Back in the shop. Love that you guys loved the random 13B REW stack video. So go check out that video if you're just here for the RX8 thing. Because I just finished getting that one uploaded. But we have a massive upgrade for the yellow RX8, which the guy I bought it from called it Buzz, so we might just call it Buzz. The color is lightning yellow, so Buzz Lightning, Buzz Lightyear. So we've got an upgrade for Buzz, the RX8, and it involves suspension. So, a common issue. Actually, let's just not even say common. Every RX8 has terrible rear suspension from the factory. It's way too soft, it's underdamped. You drive around and you feel like the back of the car is gonna bounce off the road whenever you're trying to drive the thing hard. On the way to and from Virginia, you get to drive through the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains. And I was,
putting all 86 horsepower of Buzz the RX8 to work. But in corners, we turn in, we let the outside rear tire just bottom the shock out. There's no bump stops on this car anymore. It's just straight metal on metal, and you drive through the corner on the bump stop. So we're hopefully gonna fix that with some awesome parts that Ben gave me. So if you're lucky enough to find an R3 RX8 in a junkyard or have a new friend that put coilovers on his R3, you can score some R3 Bilsteins for any other RX8 basically, because all the suspension for the RX8s is the same. So these are Bilstein shocks, upgraded springs, much like a club spec Miata would have from the factory. You can upgrade everything. He wasn't gonna use them, and they're yellow, so we're gonna put them on the yellow RX8. So take one good look at the stance of this, because the stink bug, rear sitting low, Carolina tilt of the yellow RX8 is going away. Oh yeah! New shocks, who dis? Let's just say y'all should be glad to not know the frustration that it takes, thanks dog, to put in rear shocks on an RX8, because you have to like take a lower link off and then hammer everything and then stand on the deal while you're doing this. And it'd be really nice if my dog had extra hands so that she could help me put it all together, but we're done. So for the front, definitely upper control arm out. And unfortunately, I still have stock height springs up here, so there's a little bit of tension on these. We're gonna have to get into a little bit more of an attack position to get this thing out of here. Watch out for your brake rotor guard here and here. It might cut your hand pretty good. Just tip this out. Make sure to rip your ABS wire in the process. Oh, right out of there. They look the exact same. Nailed it. I'd say that's a huge improvement over the stock 150,000 mile base model, or I guess sport suspension this RX8 came with. These R3 Bilsteins, we're gonna put them to work on the coal mine roads back here in Indiana now that we've gotten them off of Ben's R3. Super nice upgrade. Honestly, a very rare piece to find in the junkyard for, I think I mentioned earlier, like a budget upgrade for your stock RX8. But if you can find some, Bilsteins are a great shock for these. I've been running them on my green car for a while. Really enjoy them, especially just with a set of lowering springs. Now, this car, since I've had this nice 1,100 mile journey to figure out what I'm going to do with a second RX8 in the fleet, aside from just, you know, push this low compression engine to the absolute breaking point, which is the goal. This car is going to turn into more of a safari slash the new rally recce car. So if this is your first time on the channel, you love the Rotary content, I race off-road rally with the American Rally Association in a 1977 Dodge Colt. At the last few events, or I guess Olympus Rally, we did recce in my dually, and it was the worst, bounciest, most terrible ride ever. So we're going to put some winter tires on this, some rally-inspired wheels, maybe a roof rack and a light bar, and we're going to go test this thing out on some back roads, because I love riding my mountain bike. This is what I haul my mountain bike with. I've got Seasucker bike rack for it. Put the bike on the back. It works awesome, but a nice roof rack would be dope too. Then I could put two bikes on it, so Calvin and I could go ride when we go to rallies and stuff and not have to drive the dually everywhere. This video is coming to a close, and I can't thank Ben with Gears and Gasoline enough for the opportunity to come out there, tear down that engine with them, help them on putting that engine back together, doing the porting for them. It's going to be a long process getting that engine back together, as obviously they're in Virginia and I'm here, and we both have crazy hectic schedules, but we're going to get it figured out. We're going to get that engine together, and I can't wait to see the impact that that has on both my channel, but also sharing the Rotary knowledge to a bigger audience. You know, Rob Dom does a whole bunch of Rotary stuff. There's a few other huge YouTube car guys that do Rotary stuff, but honestly, the more people we can get to loving these Rotary engines, the more chances I have of hearing them on the road, which is what I enjoy the most, is just sharing the Rotary knowledge, sharing my knowledge, helping people out with their cars. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely, if you've never heard of the Gears and Gasoline guys, go check out their channel. If you're new here from the Gears and Gasoline channel, wonderful to have you. We welcome you. Ask any questions about the Rotary stuff in the comments. We got a bunch of great content coming with the 4-rotor stuff, like a first drive video coming up. We're headed down to Nashville Cars and Coffee to drive this thing around on the street and see how it does, in addition to building my green RX8 for an all-out NA hybrid RX7, RX8 engine, a bunch of crazy custom stuff going on to make that car, you know, continual improvement is what I strive to show you guys here at the channel. Whether we can change one small thing and document how much that helps the car, or we change something drastic and see how much faster it can go, that's the goal. Always trying to make stuff better. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Keep it rad. We'll see you in the next one. Man. It's one of those deals where, like, a lot of people might be mad if I rallied this car because, well, rally destroys everything, but it needs paint. It's still an RX8. I have another one, and another, I actually have 3 of them here. So we have a backup chassis should we break it, but I think a recce car, like, it can look very safari. We'll put skid plates on it and stuff and build a nice skid plate with some lights and stuff in the front so we can hit things, but it shouldn't take that much abuse. You know, the bottom of the car might not be perfect, but should be all right. Documenting the amount of premix we use, though, here at the very end of the video. So I have a Sone adapter. We used a 1/2 inch of premix out of my reservoir. Pumped. This thing, it's stiff. Peace, guys.